I'm the host with the most, baby. Podcasting for the masses, and I'm coming correct. Jason McCourty and I are from the same hometown, Rockland County, and I remember actually when you guys were coming up, because I was cool with Pierre, Chester Phelps, Larry Abney, and they used to talk about these twins at the Y or the rec center. Yeah. I was always in there playing ball.
No
and
doubt.
they always said they saw something in you two as like shorties, and those were my guys from Nyack, being from Rockland County. I was all over. I hung out. My mom actually lived in Nyack off 6th Ave.
I didn't know that.
I almost went to Nyack. I was a foster kid, so I almost went to Nyack High School. Had I gone back to live with my mom, I would have went to Nyack High School. So actually, how did y'all end up at St. Joe's Regional in Jersey and not Nyack High School? Because I know my man Ryan Grant went to St. Joe's, Cooper Rigo, a lot of great Rockland County football players. What's up, man? Why y'all ain't stay home?
It's funny. I got into football because of my older brother, Larry, and he was the one that pushed us. And coming up, always played Pop Warner, all of that right there
Valley
in Nyack.
Cottage.
Valley Cottage Indians. Used to go to all the Nyack high school games. My cousin Ronnie King, all the type of guys that I looked up to. And then by the time we got to 8th grade.
Those night games at Nyack was dope,
bro.
bro.
McCallum Field, that's what it was. So growing up, like that was always what I wanted to do. And then got into middle school, and remember Ron Girolt, who's from Spring Valley.
Ron
he was
G.
a year ahead of me. And Ron G ended up going to Joe's, having success. Kevin Charles Sullivan was from Spring Valley. They went to Joe's, and they had success. So you start seeing different guys finding their path and going that way. And I remember me and Devin went home, and we were just told moms, like, that's what I want to do. And then financially, she was like, we're gonna see if we can make this work.
Right.
And she did. And we told her, like, hey, if we can go there, I promise you, I'm going to find a way to get a scholarship somewhere. And it ended up working out. So I think it was perfect in the sense of got to go somewhere where you can focus on school, on sports, and the things that were important at that time. And it worked out at the end.
What were some things that you and Dev did as kids to, like, get hype, like, before games? Because y'all was always playing together, and then when y'all had those seasons together, did any of that carry over from when you was kids?
You talking about carry over from kids all the way through college. We'd be playing basketball in high school in a timeout, and our coach was trying to talk to us in a timeout, and my guy maybe just scored on me, and Dev pissed off at me, and we'll be in a full-blown argument with each other in the timeout, and our coach said, shut the hell up and let me, like, then you go to college. Rutgers in the offseason, me and him going at it, nose to nose, about to fight if we didn't think one of us was working hard enough.
That's dope.
We always, for whatever reason, we always had that. You fast forward to his rookie year. This man goes to Patriots, gets 7 interceptions as a rookie, and he goes to the Pro Bowl.
I remember that.
That offseason, we're back at Rutgers, and we're working out. And we're doing bench press or something, then we're doing pull-ups in between. And I think he does 6 pull-ups or something, and it was 8. I'm like, bro, really? You going to cheat me on these pull-ups? He goes, you think them pull-ups going to get you to the Pro Bowl?
Whoa.
Bro.
Ether.
Hold it, like, we about to fight in the weight room. Mind you, goes out his second year and gets killed. One of the worst corners in the league his second year. And I remember at the end of the season.
He was sitting pretty.
I remember at the end of the season, I said, I bet this offseason you're going to get all 8 of them damn pull-ups, ain't you? So, like, that was always our relationship. So when we became teammates, it was no different.
That's dope. And then y'all kept it in Jersey, went to Rutgers. After, you know what? I said Rutgers out of respect for you, but when I played at Cuse, man, we used to call y'all Buckers, man. You know what I'm saying? I just have to put that out there. But I had gained, not just because, like, we used to beat Rutgers like 73-0.
I didn't know what Rutgers was until I got to high school.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you, Kenny Britt, Leonard, Ray Rice, like, how y'all turned that around? What was that like? You say you never knew what Rutgers was.
Yeah.
What made you and Dev go there? And then how did y'all get it popping? Because Rutgers was down. Y'all boys brought it back.
That was Shiano's recruiting pitch. It was just like, yo, do you want to be the first one to make history? Like, we never lost in the Carrier Dome. Whenever we went up to Cuse, we walked away with the dub. So, but I
let them know.
At that time, like, they were just starting to get a little bit better before we got there. And then coming in with Ray. Like, Ray got there and he went off.
Ray Rice was coming to Syracuse.
Yeah.
And then Pasqualoni got fired.
Yep.
And then
we had a safety, Courtney Green, who was from New Rochelle. He was going to Syracuse as well. And so them boys both ended up at Rutgers. So, and it was dope for us at the time because, like I said, Ron G was at Rutgers. He was from Rockland County. Me and my brother we're from Rockland County. And then they had 3 cats from New Rochelle, Courtney Green, Ray Rice, and then Glenn Lee. So all of us clicked up right away because, we're right across the bridge from each other.
Y'all probably reading each other in the, the newspaper and stuff
we all knew who each other was. We played against each other in the All-Star game coming out, New York versus New Jersey. So getting there, it was dope in a sense of, to your point, you're on a school that wasn't good, and you have an opportunity now to be the first one to do things. Now, next thing you know, we're the first ones in 30 years to go to a bowl game. Then we're the first ones to win a bowl game. Now we're playing on Thursday night, and we're beating Louisville, who's number 2 in the country. Right. Now people are actually starting to talk about Rutgers. It was cool to be able to attach your name to something like that and help put the school on the map.
Nah, that's definitely dope. How was it always a plan? Obviously, you said you and Dev was gonna go to St. Joe's. Y'all was always gonna go to college. That was always the plan. Y'all was gonna go to the same school.
We didn't think so. He didn't play as much offense in high school, so I ended up with more offers than him. Now, it wasn't a lot. I had 3 offers. He ended up
What
with
was your top choices?
I had it was basically between Boston College and Rutgers, and Boston College didn't offer Dev. So I can remember Tom O'Brien coming into my living room to interview me and my mom. Dev's sitting he's sitting in the bedroom. Now,
You're not in the room?
Nah. So we lived in a trailer park. This one we moved to Valley.
Okay.
Walls ain't that thick.
Right.
So Dev, he just literally on the other side of the wall.
You lived over in Spring Valley by my brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
So he's right there in the other room, and he's listening to a head coach talk to me and our mom about me going to the school, knowing he's on the other side, and they don't want him. Like, they didn't offer him a scholarship. They didn't recruit him. They didn't talk to him. So I thought for sure I was going to Boston College. Right. And then I went on my official visit up there, and Boston was a lot different than where we were from in New York.
No doubt.
And it just didn't feel right. And then going to Rutgers on a visit with Dev, it felt right. And it's funny. So we go on the visit. I had an offer already. He didn't. So the last day we're there, unbeknownst to me and Dev, my mom goes to Shiano and was like, if you want Jason, and you damn sure better offer Devin.
Yeah, word.
They offered him. And as soon as they offered him, he said, I'm coming. I was still debating. So Shiano was pissed because the coach that was recruiting us told me years later, he was like, they got in the car after Dev accepted the offer and went off on him. Like, you told me to offer both of them. Now we're going to get the sorry one. and it worked out. Dev ended up being the first round draft pick.
How did it happen that you came out before Dev in the draft?
Yeah. He ended up redshirting our freshman year. In reality, we both should have redshirted. I ain't played that much, and I ended up going 203rd in the draft, and he goes 27th. So some of it, I think, was the fact that I was there already. So you know how this thing works in the league. It's like, all right, well, they're identical twins. One got drafted, and then my rookie year ended up playing a little bit. Probably shouldn't have been out there in some of them games. Some of them games that were going to be out there. But even talking about the league, like, what was dope for me, Dev, and a lot of our friends growing up was the fact that you made it. Like, you were the guy for us. Seth Joyner, who we know, he was older. We never got a chance to watch.
Seth Joyner is my brother's best friend. And KJ's godfather. KJ's my nephew.
Yeah. Right. So we heard stories about him, but we never got a chance to see him play. He was older than us. So by the time you were playing, like, that was my prime years of I'm playing Madden, I'm watching NFL games on Sunday. So we outside, and somebody's over there like, yo, I'm Keith Bullock. So, like, that was dope for me. Rookie year, I walk in the locker room, and the first thing you came up to me was like, what's up, home team? Yeah. Like, for me as a rookie coming out, like, that was dope as hell. Just watching you, like, walk around, you in the weight room with the Timbs on, the red gloves.
I got down, bro.
You feel me? So, like, as a rookie, though, like, that's so impressionable because it's somebody you looked up to, and now it's just like, damn, I'm in the same locker room as K Bull. Like, so just want to say, hey, give you your flowers and thank you because you were an inspiration to us as we were kids of trying to live out our dreams and get to where we got to.
That was super cool. I got to apologize to you, though, for your rookie year, man. You know, I know you thought you was coming to something sweet. We was 13-3 the year before. I
was hyped. I'm like, man, we going to the Super Bowl. I'm on a good team off rip.
Man, we lose on Thursday night and everything went downhill, man.
We was 0-6.
I had a shitty ass attitude, man. Like, that was bad.
Hey, I learned a lot. I learned a lot in them first 2 years with Fish, though.
Yeah, right.
Just about the league, like seeing so many different personalities, how stuff works. Like, yeah, it was It was a crash course.
So you had your rookie year, you had 2 years in one, because we started off 0-6,
Yep.
and then we snapped off like 6 out of 8 and almost made the playoffs. I honestly feel if I didn't get hurt against Miami, we would have got in the Chargers on Christmas night. Pause. We would have, and we would have went to the, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, what was that rookie season like? 6th-round draft pick, you ain't guaranteed a spot.
No doubt.
That's what people don't understand.
So draft day, like when I got drafted, it was a Bud Light commercial. Like that thing just scrolled across the bottom, like 203rd pick, Jason McCourty. There was no video, no Mel Kiper talking about this guy, blah, blah, blah.
But you ran a 4.32 now.
At Pro Day, I ain't even get invited to the combine.
Nice.
So exactly. So when I came out here, like it was just, I didn't drive or nothing. I didn't bring nothing. It was like, I'm going out there to make the team. If I don't, I'm jumping right back on the plane and going back to the crib. Right. So I'll never forget. I remember talking to David Thornton, DT, about this. The way we used to do cuts when I first got in the league was our weight room coach, Steve Warderson. He used to go around.
The black hand.
Bro.
The Grim Reaper.
We would all be in the building that day, and he would go around, cats playing Madden, sitting around playing cards, and he'd tap you on the shoulder. Hey, bring your playbook. Coach Fish needs to see you. So I remember rookie year, me and Kenny Britt hiding out in the players' lounge. Like, shout out to Kenny, because he ain't have no reason to be hiding out.
He's a damn first-round draft pick. He was holding you down.
Exactly. We was together at Rutgers, so we chilling. And I remember once they did all the cuts, we went back in the bubble and we got into stretch lines. And I can remember vividly, my stretch line had 9 guys in it. I was the 8th guy to start training camp. And you go back in there, my line now had 4. And you just look down the long lines, and it's just like there was 90 people at training camp, and now there's 53. And like that was the first like idea or thought of like, damn, this is really a business. And I remember talking to DT about it, and he was like, J-Mac, don't ever forget this feeling. Like, don't take this for granted. So that's how the rookie year started. And then next thing you know, corners start getting hurt. Next thing you know, I'm starting. We on the road to Foxborough.
Yo,
we're playing New England.
Yes.
That,
so, stop right there.
Please.
Stop right there. Stop right there. That game, Foxborough, New England. That was like the low point of my career. We go to New England, man, and it's like Halloween, because I remember it was around Halloween time, because I go out because the cheerleaders and everybody they're dressed up in Halloween. That's what I remember. And I remember I go do my lap, and it was a little cold, but it wasn't crazy. We from the Northeast.
Yeah. It was rain. It was pouring raining.
It was pouring raining. Then we get to the stadium. I'm doing my lap. I'm like, man, this is like sleet. Like, you know what I mean? I remember I cut it early, so I don't need to get all wet and cold. I come back out, now it's snow on the ground.
Snowstorm, bro.
The first series, we get him like on a 3 and out. I'm like, okay, we good. Man, it was all downhill from there, bro. The New England Patriots blew us out 59-0. I remember at halftime it was 42-0. This is a true story. It was 42-0 because I'm walking in and I'm looking up at the scoreboard. I was like, God damn, we got to come back out this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, that was crazy to me. But then like just something switched into me. I just wouldn't come off the field, bro. So yeah, what was like, you have to start against Randy Moss, Tom Brady, Wes Welker, and that New England team that went to the Super Bowl.
Man, my mom came up for the game.
Man, you know, I had people in the stadium
driving distance. My girlfriend, wife now, girlfriend at the time, they come up to the game, and I ain't know no better. Away tickets, they all at the top of the stadium. Man. That game, like the Patriots ran a flea flicker.
Yep.
They were running double moves.
Yep.
So the way you're feeling, the good thing about being a rookie in those moments, like I don't really know what's going on. I'm just happy to be out there.
Right.
So just like, I don't even realize like how bad this really is. And I can remember like C Hope looking at me and just like, hey, J-Mac, this ain't how it's supposed to be. You know him. He was all wisdom, not a lot of young. Yeah. And I was just like, bro, like we got to do better than this.
Bro.
Like, and then we played, you know what? In the course of the games I started my rookie year, I played Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. It was a cold blue game at Nissan Field, LP Field at the time.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Those were the 2 quarterbacks I played my rookie year.
You got a lot of experience, man. You learned on the ground. You hit the ground running.
Baptism by fire.
That's crazy. And then you said 2 names within our conversation that like are very important people and very important people to that team. Chris Hope,
man,
and David Thornton, especially for our side of the ball. Kevin Mawai, I call them the big three. Kevin Mawai was on the offensive side of the ball, and I say they were really important because I was in a dark spot, man, because I had just gone. When I got here, same as you, we 13-3. You know what I'm saying? You think it's gonna be like that forever? Then we go, we have some runs, and then I'm in the rut of everybody's gone. I got paid.
Yeah.
So now we're 4-12, 5-11. I'm playing my ass off, but we ain't getting no wins. You know what I'm saying? So
I know it well.
By the time I'm in year 10, and we just went 13-3, and we lost to the we lost to the Ravens in that playoff game.
Remember that.
We played 33 snaps on defense. And gave up
I didn't
130.
realize that.
We gave up 131 total yards.
Wild.
Right, and we lost. So I'm coming back with the mentality, and then there are things that happen, within the business of the football. I was on the last year of my contract, all this stuff. So my attitude was definitely fucking. I'm riding for my guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The organization is whatever. Because at the end of the day, now it's about me, and the team. And I always say, man, I shouldn't have did that because that's the only year I kind of played a little selfish and my ass got hurt. You know what I'm saying? That's the football guys. They blessed me. But that year I decided to play selfish, I got hurt.
That's wild. And that's just wild how it all takes place. And to your point, I ended up playing here in Tennessee for 8 years. So everything you're saying I had 2-14, 3-13, the 5-11s, all of those type of seasons. For me, even amidst the losing, bro, I learned so much here.
Yeah.
I would get in the cold tub as a young guy, and I would just listen to C-Hope and DT tell stories about Pittsburgh, about Indianapolis. Cortland was a 7th-round draft pick. So for me, I'm watching him, and I'm like, see, that's the goal. As a late-round guy, I can get paid here. I can do things here. So just watching his approach, how he was vocal sometimes when he didn't need to be, but Court wasn't going to let shit just go by without saying anything. He was going to stand on business for whatever he believed, and I got to learn that from him. I got to watch C-Hope and listen to him behind the scenes of exactly how stuff is supposed to operate when you're doing it at a high level. So the same thing with you, next thing you know, I look up after my 3rd year and all of the boys are gone. All of them are gone. And then by the time I get to year 5, everybody in my entire draft class is gone. But now all of those nuggets you take with you, and now you're leading the younger guys trying to find a way to find some success.
So you went through those dark spots, man. How did that, I guess, mold your mentality as a football player when you turn around and all of a sudden you have to be the leader? I don't know if you're naturally a leader because you come across when I'm sitting home watching you on the Titans and J-Mac out there doing his thing, or I would come back. You were a natural leader, but I wasn't here to see that.
Yeah. And I think it was natural for me, and you're just waiting your turn. And while I was waiting my turn, I was grabbing nuggets from everyone. So even how you talked about yourself that year, you were selfish, but it was also you weren't afraid whether it was Fisher standing up in the front, whether it was the GM Reinfeldt standing up in the front. If something wasn't right, you wasn't afraid to say it. I can remember being at practices and guys on the offense not performing, and you'd be standing on the sideline motherfuckers want to go out and drink all night. Now you can't show up to practice, and somebody else may hear it and be like, damn, Bull's wilding. But I'm well, he really holding those guys accountable. Somebody may not like the delivery.
Unorthodox style.
No doubt. Somebody may not like the delivery, but at the same time, within a locker room, you can't expect everybody to be a corporate figure and lead the way maybe a Jason McCourty leads or a Chris Hope leads. You need everybody to be themselves and lead the way that they lead because it holds people accountable. So I would say for me, by the time I got to year 3, I felt like I was ready for that moment to step up in that leadership role because it wasn't only my thoughts that I was leading with, but it was the stories that I was able to tell from the guys that were there before me. So it's just now you're able to pour that into guys and use that as an example where it's just my rookie year, we were 0-6.
Right.
I know exactly what it's like when you're down and you're trying to figure it out. We had this vet that did this vet that did that. I had Coach Fisher doing this. So now you just have all of these stories that you can tell to try to uplift guys and bring them to where they need to be. But you also learn that sometimes you got to call somebody out,
Yeah.
and you're going to be nose to nose.
Kyle Vanderbosch used to call me Captain Asshole, and that's definitely who I was by the time you got there. That being said, man, like when you were part of that team that obviously was ass as they are kind of right now, but
No, exactly.
you were also one of those catalysts that, like you said, showed those guys the way. You didn't get to, get the fruits of that labor. You got cut or contract dispute, however that works out.
Yeah.
And
No, I got cut. Yeah.
You got cut. All right, keep it a buck. And you're in Cleveland for an 0-16 team. And then the Titans go to the playoffs, son.
I was sick, sick, and I wouldn't show it. You get an interview, I'm so happy. Jarrell Casey and Woodyard and Rack, all of these guys, I'm happy for them. My wife, on the other hand, she's like, nah, this some bullshit. I'm mad as hell that we're not. But it was one of those things. To your point, I got to see KB Kevin Byard.
Yeah,
that was last year where he was playing in Chicago. And getting a chance to talk to him and him saying to me, nah, man, I appreciated you my rookie year to be able to get a chance to learn from you. I saw Derrick Henry last year at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, and we were chopping it up and talking about that. And those are the small things that you don't realize when you're going through it because you're too pissed off.
Yeah.
But the fact that you had an impact on those young guys in their rookie year, and that meant something to them that now they're having that success. So to a certain extent, to me, from an organization standpoint, I'm watching them in the playoffs and I'm pissed off. But I remember listening to Jarrell Casey in the interview, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but talking about going through some of the hard stuff to get to where they were, to be in an AFC Championship game. And I wanted to be out there with my guys, but it was dope as hell because I remember having those heart-to-heart conversations with Case when we were going through stuff, and he's coming from USC where they're winning and trying to figure out, because he was that lineman where a pass get caught, he want to turn around and be like, who the hell guy is that?
Don't even know the coverage.
Bro, we playing cover 2. It ain't nobody.
Right.
So we had a lot of those moments. So it was dope, but anybody, man, I wanted so bad, and then I didn't beat them. So then 2018, I go to the Patriots. We come back and we play against them, and Braves is here. They whoop our ass. Then 2019, we play them again in the wild card. They whoop us then again. So it was just so badly you want to beat them, and it never happened. One of the teams I never got a chance to beat.
So when you was in Cleveland and y'all are 0-6, and
I thought Tennessee was bad.
You had all this wisdom. I've been 0-6 before. When you got to 0-7, what's the message then?
Hey, I thought bad stuff.
How do you
was
lead
bad.
in a situation like that?
Not only the football part of it, but I remember that year, even personally, we had just had our third kid. She was born, she had severe food allergies. So now we're moving from Nashville to Cleveland. My wife is meeting with this allergist here, this allergist. I'm missing all of it because I'm in training camp, all of that stuff. And I remember she had an allergic reaction. I had to give her the EpiPen and all of that. My wife's Puerto Rican. There were storms in Puerto Rico. So we're in Cleveland. My wife feels absolutely isolated. She feels like we're disconnected. She's mad as hell that we're there. I don't even see it because I'm so frustrated with everything that's going on with football. Cleveland is not sunny. It hits a point in the country where it's just dark every day.
Yeah, I never seen a sunny day in Cleveland either.
Dude, and it was bad there. From top down that year I was there. So it wasn't you'd be like, man, we just don't have the guys. Nah, organizationally, this thing is jacked up. And when you say, how do you lead? I felt for the guys. I'm in year 9, and this team was so young, and I felt for those guys where I just wanted to get them to understand, yo, this ain't it. If you get a chance to get away, or if new leadership comes in here, you're going to find out this isn't the way an NFL season or NFL team is supposed to be. So I felt like that was my duty to preach that to those guys and make sure they know. And then also for me personally, the Titans just told me I wasn't good enough. You get cut, somebody told you after 8 years, man, we appreciate you, everything you did, but yo, it's time for you to leave. So I was motivated like hell, winning or losing, whatever the score going to be at the end of the game. I wanted to prove to them and to myself that I can still play this game at a high level.
What are those conversations with Dev when you owe it? Yo, what is Dev?
He used to kill me because I can remember to this day, it was at a Westin hotel in Cleveland on my visit, and I call him. I'm like, bro, they offered me, I think I'm assigned here. And they were 1-15 the year before. He goes, bro, don't do it. And I'm like, but what you like? I don't have no other offers.
Right.
He's like, bro, don't go to Cleveland. Like, it ain't gonna be good. I'm like, I hear you, but like, I want to play ball. It's already May. Like, I want to figure out where to fan. So when the season started going, he was like, hey, I told you not to go to Cleveland. I told you.
To tell your ass.
That was a rough year, boy.
So how did you end up on the pay? Was that like, yo, did Dev throw you a lob? Like, how that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you threw him one to get to college. Yo, what's good?
You let him tell it. He was solely responsible for it. But I remember when the season ended in 2017, and you have your exit interviews where all the media's in there. Like, I went in. I went in on the organization saying, like, everybody's gonna blame the players. We have better players in our locker room than an 0-16 record, but you can't find that out when stuff isn't the right way and the head coaching and the management. So I was trying to get cut at that point. So I remember the GM at the time, John Dorsey, had came in. Sashi Brown had got fired, and he was like, "Hey, we're gonna release you early just to give you a chance." But that whole conversation, I'm like, "Hey, appreciate it." So I called Dev. I'm like, "Bro, they're gonna release me." He hits up Brian Flores, who was at the safeties coach at the time, and Flo hits him. He's like, "Yo, you might want to just hit Bill up." So he texts Bill, "Yo, 2 McCourtys are better than 1." Bill don't hit him back. So he like, well, I shot my shot.
Hey, tried.
30 minutes later, Bill calls him, and he's like, "Yo, we're going to trade for your brother. So we're not going to worry about negotiating with him. We're just going to trade for him." So I can remember Dev calling me, telling me the news, and I'm excited. And I go tell my wife, and I actually had a good year in Cleveland. We didn't have a good year as a team, but I performed well. I remember telling my wife they're going to trade for me, and she was like, "Damn, see, that's that bull. Like, we would have had a chance to negotiate for more money had we become free agents."
Right.
But that's just she listening to me. She learned the business of it.
She's the business.
You know what I mean?
Word, that's what's up.
But it was dope. Like, organically for it to happen. Like, neither one of us happened to like go on a visit and me take less money to go. Like, they just traded for me. So I can remember taking the plane from Nashville to go there, and Dev picking me up from the airport, driving into the facility. Dope. Like, you think about, we mentioned to start this thing off, playing for the Valley Cottage Indians. And I can remember waking up Sunday mornings before our games, and me and him going out, going over all of our plays, the handoffs, the toss passes, all of that stuff, and like dreaming about being able to be teammates in the NFL. Crazy. And it was just like, yo, like, we're about to have a season. I was on the last year of my deal. So we went in like, yo, we got one shot. Let's have as much fun, no matter how much I play, or however it shakes out. Let's just make sure we enjoy these moments. And it ended up working out.
What was it like when you walked into that New England facility?
So for me, I'm like, oh, this joint gonna be straight military. Like, Bill's gonna be running this way, that way. And when I was in Cleveland, Hugh Jackson, you had to be 5 minutes early to every meeting. You had to have brown shorts on and a gray shirt at every single meeting. So I get to New England, and I'm like, yo, I know this is going to be 10 times worse. So our first meeting's at 8 o'clock. So I'm sitting in the locker room. You know how everybody just waiting until the last minute to go in. So, like, I'm like, damn, it's 7:57.
Nobody moved yet?
We 90 deep in the locker room. Ain't nobody. So 58 hit.
I go, like, Belichick?
I go, yo, Dev, like, he like, oh, nah, bro, you not late till it's 8:01. I'm like, what? We going to meet. I probably walk in the meeting at 7:59. 8 o'clock hit. Bill standing up there at the podium. 8 o'clock hit. Like 3 people walk in. It's just like, morning, come on in. In New England, Bill didn't give a shit what you wore to meetings. Half the time I'm in there with a hat and a hood on. I'll be in the back on my iPad watching film while he's talking. All Bill cared about was, when we get in between them white lines, you better know what you're doing, exactly what our game plan is, and exactly what the opponent is going to present to us. When I got traded, I have a meeting with Bill, and he calls me. It's just me and him in the meeting room, and he goes, you can really help us as a team. He said, we've been to, I think it was at that time, it was either 2 or 3 straight Super Bowls. And he was like, we got some mother that think we're going to the Super Bowl just because of them. And he was just like, you'll have a good perspective because you just came from 0-16. Some of these guys here need a dose of reality of what the league is really like. But like Bill's message every single day, his main thing he used to always say to us is, you can't win until you keep from losing. So that was eliminating just bad football.
Right.
Distractions off the field, pre-snap penalty, all the stuff that you can control, you got to eliminate that before we can even start to talk about winning games. But I would say what was different in that organization and any of the other ones I've been in was his ability to hold everybody accountable. And I credit Brady a lot for that, because Brady allowed Bill to hold him to the same standard publicly as not publicly, but in front of the entire team. Because Bill didn't say anything publicly from a media standpoint, but I can remember we're getting ready to play the Chargers in the playoffs. And obviously, Phillip Rivers is a quarterback for the Chargers. Very good player. We're watching. We're in team meeting. Bill will go an hour sometimes because he's going to hit you on all three phases. Like, it's not just your typical, like, here's the schedule, have a good day, see you guys at the end of the day. He'll go through everything.
He's going through the X's and O's.
So we're watching film of Phillip Rivers, and he's over there. He's like, look at this guy. There's no quarterback in the NFL better than stepping up in the pocket than Phillip Rivers. And I'm sitting in the back like, well, damn, we got Thomas Brady up there in the front. Yeah. I think he'd do a pretty good job. But he knew all, and then skips over that. Now he gets to the offensive side. He's showing like playoff games from the past. He shows a Ravens playoff game where Brady throws an interception. This is from like 6 years ago. He's like, I mean, we're throwing the ball into a freaking team meeting here. And I'm sitting there like, yo, he talking to Brady like this? So I think that raised everybody's level up because Brady was okay with it. And if you weren't doing, like, I watched Brady just dog cuss people on the offensive side of the ball in one-on-ones if you didn't run your route the same way. And the practices were so competitive. Like, we'd be on the sideline and, like, you're cursing Brady out from the opposite sideline because you all want to win in practice. And that just raises everybody's level. And then the people, like the guys there, they were so used to being in it. Like the expectation was so high. On every team, you say, oh, the goal is to win a Super Bowl. But like when you're on that team and you're in that organization and you're seeing the moves they're making and free agency and all of it, you're like, oh, yeah, we're really trying to win the Super Bowl.
Well, you made a play in the Super Bowl, and it was your game-saving play. I don't remember exactly where it was, but I was like, oh, shit, J-Mac. That was my reaction, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Take us through that play.
Yeah.
Because it was – game was like –
Yeah. That play was so special for me even before I get into the play, because I remember the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl of how many people that I played with on the Titans that reached out to me. I remember having conversations like Michael Griffin, Alteron Werner, about them hitting me up like, bro, I'm so happy for you. Right. Like, I want you to win this. So, like, even going into that game, the cool thing for me was just like I felt like, especially playing here for so long, like there was so many guys that I played with that like we were trying to reach that goal and we never even came close to it. So I felt like when I was playing in that game, like I was also representing some of the like players and coaches.
Ain't it crazy? Like every year you think you got a shot. My bad.
No, bro. Like every year you legit feel like that. Not to get on a tangent, I remember being in Cleveland, having a meeting with ownership and them saying we had like 7 or 8 games left. Like how many, out of the last 7 or 8, Keith, how many do you think we actually have a chance to win? And I was like, what? I'm like, we're all dumb enough that we think we got a chance to win all
any
of
given
these games.
Sundays for
I don't
real.
care who's on the schedule. So to that point, like you have that. So going into that game, I felt like I was representing so many people. And that's not even your hometown, your family, everybody. This is a Super Bowl. Like, I remember being a kid betting mom's $5 for the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. I'm in that game now. So on that play, they had ran that same play in the first quarter. And we get on the sideline. And at that point, like our team, our secondary was so many veterans. Like I'm in year 10. My brother's in 9. We had Patrick Chung, who's in year 10. Jerron Harmon was in like year 7 or 8.
That's what I noticed about that
So
team.
like we're getting on the sideline. Like I used to run the surface on the sideline. Me and like we're all, the coaches are telling us, but we already done told each other.
What's the surface like? Because I played when we was looking at.
You had to flip the pictures.
Like if I could see the actual video.
So we didn't have the video. Okay. It was still, all the thing was, it was color pictures for us that you just swipe into the next picture.
I got you.
So,
all right, so
we didn't get the video part.
Coach was saying.
So coaches tell, so we're looking at that play and I'm talking to Flores and I'm like, yo, they ran this. The next time they do that, I'm going to run to the post. I got to be back there. And then Dev ass on the other side, he looking at the server. Yo, Jay, you got to get there on the play. I'm like, all right, bro, we done already talked about it. So when it came back up, we messed it up on the front side, but I ended up coming back there. It wasn't supposed to be wide open like that. Right. But that's just one of those plays in the moment. You don't realize how big it is. And then you finish the game and the score is 13-3. And it's just like you realize like stopping that touchdown pass was huge. But it was just so special to be in that game, man. Like just the lead up and everything that comes along with it. Like you just unless you go through it, you don't know what it's like. And then for me, that was the 5th Super Bowl I attended.
You went to the game?
4 of them, I went
to watch your brother.
To watch my brother.
Oh,
so like,
word. Because I always said I'm not going unless I'm playing.
Bro, that's the only time I ever went.
I'm
going, and like that's a sick feeling. Like I used to get there on Tuesday for Super Bowl.
I would get there drunk. I'll go to the game drunk.
Yo, I'm getting there, and it's just like I'm like, bro, what you need? Like family gets in. Like don't even worry about the family. Like they gotta go eat.
Right.
I'll take care of all of that. So like that was for
you running point for the family
for 4 Super Bowls. Like I'm at the family picture the day before. Like I'm doing all of that stuff. And even his first one he ever won, I'm down on the field with him, and a trophy come by, and they like touch it. I'm like, hell no, I ain't touching the trophy. I ain't earned it. Like I'm in this profession. You know what I mean? So when I got my chance to go, like I was geeked up. Like they was all like, bro, these jokers had went. We won the AFC Championship game. We come in that next day for the Super Bowl logistics meeting. They get up there and they're like, we don't really need a meeting. Everybody here, this is our 3rd straight year going. So for the new guys, if you have any questions, just come find me. I'm like,
that's crazy.
Bro, y'all don't even need a like.
That's
so
crazy.
all the small things, the media stuff, they would be annoyed with it. I'm over there like, yo, what time it start? Like,
yeah,
this gonna be my only shot. I'm probably not coming back. So it was a special thing.
Being around Bill, the team, all that. Did it surprise you when you seen Coach take that opportunity down in North Carolina?
It did, because I didn't expect him to want to go deal with the college stuff. You know what I mean? Like he coached for so long in the league, has so much success. When you're in college, like you're not dealing with grown men. Like in the NFL, ain't nobody showing up and being like, my girlfriend left me or something like that. In college, like these are still kids. So like everything from family and in between, like you have to put out those fires as a head coach and deal with it. You got to deal with guys going to school and all of that stuff to make sure it's all complacent with all of the rules and NCAA and all of that stuff. I'm like, why would he want to deal with all of that? So I was very surprised, but I know how much he loves football, and it didn't seem as though an NFL opportunity was going to come. So I guess he wanted to get back in that bad. But even looking at them now, they're obviously struggling. And if you had, I could have anticipated it going that way.
Why do you say that?
The one thing he always said to us was like, the avoid distractions. That was ignore the noise was one of the signs in the building.
How? His lady be on the sideline, bro.
So my point is, when he took the job, the only thing that has surrounded the North Carolina program has been distractions. Since he took over, there's been nothing talked about football other than the stuff he has going on outside of football. So like for me, from the outside looking in, I'm like, nah, like that ain't Bill. Like he never would, whether right, wrong, girlfriend, not girlfriend, in love, not in love, none. He just wouldn't let any of that stuff get in the way of the football. Because the whole time he was coaching in New England, don't nobody know whether Bill was married, not married, who his girlfriend was, his kid, like none of that stuff, because it was always strictly football. So just seeing all of it, I don't have a judgment on any of it. Like, dude, like date who you want, do all of that stuff. I have no opinion on any of that. But when you see it as a distraction in football, and then you're trying to now win while they got 70 new players from the season ago, like 30 or 40 of them after spring ball, that's hard enough to win games with now people having to answer questions about what the head coach is doing. So like that to me was the sign that like this probably ain't gonna work out.
After football, you jumped right into media and stuff.
Yeah, that's a balance that I'm still figuring out, if I'm being honest, the family piece of it, traveling and all of that stuff. And that's the one thing you learn. I've been now retired 4 years, and you're trying to figure it out, because that's the one thing, to make it to the heights that we've made it, all you've known is to put your head down and work. So when I retired, my fear was, if I don't do anything, like I'm gonna lose myself. And I'm like, I don't want to be in that position, because I'm so accustomed to having something to do and going. 4 years in now, I'm starting to figure out like, all right, like you maybe don't need to do everything and start to scale back. So like I would say that's something that is a continued work in progress, especially when you got little kids. Like their lives aren't gonna pause for you. So when for me now, you're traveling and you're calling games. My son plays a game every Saturday. My girls cheer. I'm missing that. So like you got to start to think about what's worth sacrificing and what isn't.
You've been out of the game for 4 years, but you're still in it because you're around it daily. How has your perspective on the game changed, like as far as like rules and obviously when you came in, it was a more physical game and how it has to be played and the different technicalities. So let me get your PhD opinion on that.
It's different. And I think the one thing you saw is when I came in the league, the best quarterbacks were Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. It was all of these guys that would pick you apart by knowing what you were going to be in pre-snap and then just standing in the pocket, accurate throws, timing throws. By the time I was exiting the league, and even more now I'm playing against Lamar Jackson. I'm playing against
totally different.
Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen took over our division when I was in New England and then in Miami. So when you're watching the game now, even now, Cam Ward comes in the league. There are no guys that are just standing in the pocket. Like, you don't see any quarterback now that can't run. Right. Justin Herbert is a guy that's big. He's a pocket passer, but he can take off and leave the
Daniel Jones.
Like, there are no guys that just stand in the pocket. So that has completely changed the game because you still have to protect these guys because they're the money makers. So the roughing the passer calls. But then I'm watching Mahomes weekly run over a DB. But then you go to knock him out, and now you get a flag. So, like, that part of the game is vastly different. I know for me in my position group, I was a safety for 12 years. I was a corner for 12 years, moved to safety my last year. Coming into the league now, I very much, because I was a willing tackler, could have been a safety from the start because the Bernard Pollards that I was playing, the Cam Chancellors that was just taking people's heads off, you can't do that in the league anymore. Right. Now everybody's playing with two high safeties, and the safeties are covering receivers as much as they are tight ends. So, like, you had to be able to move and cover now, opposed to back then you had the big hitters that were coming up trying to just take your head off, and you don't have that anymore.
The current situation that the Tennessee Titans are in,
yeah.
How is it viewed, like, from your lens, being in the media world?
I would say the wild thing is in 2015, Whisenhunt was the coach.
He was whack, bro.
He got here in 14.
I wasn't here with him, but I just know how he moved, and I heard, like, yo.
Yeah, by no
I'm
means.
not asking you to.
No. By no means am I a Whisenhunt fan. I've said that publicly. Like, not by no means. He was here for a year and a half. And he was fired, and Malarkey took over. You fast forward, that was 2015, is now 2025. Brian Callahan was here for a year and a half, basically, and now he's fired. Malarkey took over now McCoy's taking over. And I think even crazier now is that you look at the past few years for the Titans, like you had Vrabel and you bring John Robinson in. Success. AFC Championship game, Coach of the Year, like they're building something. Kind of takes a little bit of a hit. You fire John Robinson, A.J. Brown traded, all of those things. Cool. Vrabel was the guy. You keep him. You hire Rand Carthon, but then you fire Mike Vrabel. It's just like the amount of change. That's the one thing I've learned throughout my journey of playing. When you keep switching everything out, there's no continuity, and it's so hard to build on anything where you end up being the same team over and over again. It's not a Tennessee Titans problem. Look across the league. I was with the Cleveland Browns. They're still in the same spot. The Jets the last few. There's a lot of teams that end up being in the same exact spot because you just keep hitting reset.
So Titans fans are going to want to know, where do you think the Titans go from here? What can right this train or get this train on the right tracks? There you go. That's what I was
it's so crazy because Callahan being let go, it seems so wild. Like, you just drafted the first overall pick, but this now has become the norm in the NFL. It happened with Caleb Williams. It happened with Trevor Lawrence. It happened with Bryce Young. All of these guys had head coaches fired in their first year.
I just saw Bruce Arians say that if you, like, it was like a couple weeks ago or something like that, that if you draft the first-round quarterback, you're going to get fired.
You're going to get fired.
And you just confirmed it.
And there's more, and that's just the first overall pick. It's more guys that are just first-rounders that's happened to. So, like, the most important thing for the Titans right now is you have to make sure the next guy is the right guy. So you look at even Drake May, who it happened to him. Mike Vrabel becomes his coach in his second year. He gets Josh McDaniels as an offensive coordinator. In his second year, he's taking off right now. So for the Tennessee Titans, with Cam Ward, you have to make sure whoever this next guy is, they're going to be the guy that's going to take him to a different height in this entire team. The hard thing about that is now Cam Ward is going to be on his third play caller if things change. Now, who knows? The Titans, the last few interim head coaches they've had, that guy has been labeled as he's become the head coach. So I don't know if that's going to be what happens with Mike McCoy. If it does, it probably lends itself to have the same person in Cam Ward's ear. But assuming it's not him and they open the search up and they find somebody else, that means Brian Callahan called his first 3 or 4 games. Right. Bo Hardegree called plays after that. And then whoever the head coach becomes, he'll be the third different guy that's been in his ear. You got to make sure whoever the next person is, you are 100% committed to bringing out the best of Cam Ward.
Yeah, that's I feel like that's an interesting point. I also tend to think that they kind of rush these quarterbacks onto the field. You know what I mean? They don't give them the time to mature as a professional quarterback, and they don't stock the room. Like I don't feel like Joe Flacco should necessarily be starting. I'm not saying, but he should be in the NFL in somebody's quarterback room. Yeah. Obviously, he's having to start, because, now Burrow is hurt. But I feel like those are the type of players that need to be in a room with a Cam Ward or, like you said, a Caleb Williams and, players of that nature.
To your point, Jaden Daniels, they draft him. They signed Marcus Mariota to be his backup, a similar type of player. Yeah. Bryce Young had Andy Dalton. It didn't work out, but you're at least going to get a guy that's been in that role. Caleb Williams, he didn't have that. He had another guy that was a year ahead of him from Shepherd University, Tyler Bagent. And then that next year they go out and get Case Keenum and bring him in to have a veteran in the room. You don't need that guy to play, but there's just so many lessons that are so valuable for having a guy behind a rookie that has played meaningful football.
And it has to be a veteran that's willing, that doesn't want to be the starter still, you know what I mean? So I want to thank one half of Rockland's finest for being here today. Dev, you on deck. I had the title for a little bit, but y'all got the juice now. You know what I'm saying? Jason McCourty, J-Mac, man, I know you're busy. I appreciate you coming through the stew and chopping it up with me, man.
Anytime, man. Appreciate you having me, bro.
Word. Podcasting for the masses, and I'm coming correct.